The subject line read, "I'm finally ready." Marta almost deleted it. It was sent to her work address at 3:42 a.m. No signature. No context. Just those 3 words in the preview line. She assumed it was spam. But something about the phrasing felt personal. She opened it. The body of the email was short. "I know I should have said this years ago. I'm sorry I disappeared. I'm finally ready to tell you everything. Meet me where it started." No name. No location. Just that. Marta stared at the screen for a long time. She was 32, worked in digital marketing, and had a structured, predictable life. Nothing dramatic. Nothing mysterious. Certainly nothing that sounded like where it started. She checked the sender. A generic email address. Random letters and numbers. She replied anyway. "I think you have the wrong person." The response came almost instantly. "I don't." Her heart skipped. She told herself it was a prank. Someone from the office. A strange marketing test. A wrong number scenario. Still, the words stuck with her. Meet me where it started. That afternoon, she couldn't concentrate. Every notification made her flinch slightly. She checked old photos during her lunch break. High school. University. Ex-boyfriends. Old friends she had drifted from. No unresolved mysteries. No dramatic disappearances. At least none she remembered. Then, something surfaced. A summer job when she was 19. A small lakeside cafe in another town. She had worked there for 3 months before returning to the city for university. There had been a boy. Not even a boyfriend. Just someone she talked to every evening after closing. He played guitar badly. She pretended to like it. They never labeled anything. One day he stopped showing up. She left town a week later. They never exchanged numbers. She had forgotten about him. Or maybe she had chosen to. Her phone buzzed again. Another email. "You used to sit on the dock after closing. You said the water made you feel braver than you actually were." Her breath caught. That wasn't information you could find online. She closed her laptop. That evening, she searched for the cafe. It still existed. Same name. Same location. She told herself she wasn't going. She was absolutely not driving 2 hours to meet a ghost from her past. She booked a hotel room anyway. The next day, she took time off work. On the drive, doubt grew louder. What if it wasn't him? What if it was something worse? What if it was no one at all? She arrived at the lake just before sunset. The cafe looked smaller than she remembered. The dock was still there. She walked toward it slowly. Empty. The water was calm. She almost laughed at herself. Of course this was ridiculous. Her phone buzzed. One more email. "You came." She spun around. A man stood near the edge of the dock. Older. Wider shoulders. Less messy hair. But the eyes were the same. "You took your time," he said softly. She didn't know what to say. "You disappeared," she replied. "I didn't," he said. "You left." Silence settled between them. The sun dipped lower. "I wasn't ready back then," he continued. "For anything real." She folded her arms. "And now?" He exhaled slowly. "Now I am." The wind moved lightly across the lake. She studied him carefully. "You found my work email," she said. "I looked for you," he admitted. "For years." Her heart pounded. "You could have just said hello." "I didn't want to send a hello." I wanted to send something honest. The air felt charged. Unfinished sentences hung between them. You said meet me where it started, she said. He nodded. Because this is the last place I remember being brave enough to care. She looked at the water. At 19, everything felt possible. At 32, everything felt measured. Safe. Predictable. She turned back to him. You sent that at 3:42 a.m. He smiled faintly. I couldn't sleep. Why? Because I realized I've been ready for a while. I was just afraid to say it. The lake reflected the fading sky. She stepped closer. Ready for what? She asked quietly. He met her eyes. For the part of my life I walked away from. The question wasn't whether he meant it. The question was whether she did. And as the sun disappeared behind the water, she realized some emails aren't mistakes. They're second chances that arrive when you least expect them. They stood there longer than either of them expected. The air felt different from when they were 19. Back then, everything was light and impulsive. Now, it carried weight. History. Consequence. You know, Marta said quietly, when you stopped showing up, I thought I imagined the whole thing. He frowned slightly. Imagined? Yeah. I told myself it wasn't real. That it was just a summer mood. Easier than thinking you chose to disappear. He looked down at the water. My father got sick. I left suddenly. I didn't know how to explain anything. I thought I'd come back. You didn't. No, he exhaled slowly. And the longer I stayed away, the harder it felt to reach out. It started to feel too late. She studied him carefully. The confidence he had now wasn't the same as the easy charm he used to have. It felt earned. Quieter. So why now? She asked. He hesitated. Because I ran into someone from that summer a few months ago. They mentioned you. Said you had moved on. Built a life. I realized I never even tried to be part of it. That's not really how life works, she said softly. You don't just show up years later and expect everything to still be waiting. I know. His voice wasn't defensive. I'm not asking for it to be waiting. I'm asking if there's space to see what it could be now. The honesty in that sentence caught her off guard. They walked slowly along the dock. The wood creaked beneath their steps, just like it used to. You remember this? He asked, pointing to a small carved initial near the railing. She leaned closer. 2 uneven letters scratched into the wood. M+A. She laughed quietly. We were dramatic. We were brave, he corrected. Or naive. Is there a difference? She didn't answer immediately. The sky deepened into shades of purple and blue. The lake reflected the last traces of light. You know what scares me, she admitted. What? That I'm not 19 anymore. I don't fall easily. I calculate. I analyze. I protect myself. He nodded slowly. That's fair. And I don't want this to be about nostalgia, she continued. I don't want to chase a memory. He stepped closer, but not too close. Good, he said. Because I don't want 19-year-old us. I want 32-year-old you. The one who left. The one who built something. The one who answers emails she shouldn't. She smiled despite herself. You're different, she said. So are you. Silence settled again, but this time it wasn't heavy. Stay, he said quietly. Not forever. Not a promise. Just dinner. A conversation that doesn't end when the summer does. Her phone buzzed in her hand. A new email notification. From him. She opened it. No pressure. No expectations. Just coffee if you want it. She looked up at him. You sent this when? She asked. 5 minutes ago, he said. In case you needed an easier exit. She felt something loosen inside her chest. The choice was hers. No grand gestures. No dramatic speeches. Just two adults standing on a dock where something once began. Okay, she said finally. Okay, he echoed. Coffee, she clarified. One step. Not a leap. He smiled in a way that felt less like relief and more like gratitude. They walked back toward the cafe together. Not touching. Not rushing. Just moving in the same direction. Because sometimes second chances don't arrive with fireworks. Sometimes they arrive quietly. At 3:42 a.m. And wait for you to decide whether you're ready to.